From the Lowline to the Low Battery to Johns Island to short-term rentals, City of Charleston Director of Planning, Preservation, and Sustainability, Jacob Lindsey, has his hands filled. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with Jacob one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Well, Mr. Lindsey, it's so good to see you again.
Quintin, it's great to see you again too, man.
Always. We see each other walking downtown all the time.
All the time.
So, there's so many issues going on. The Johns Island moratorium, short-term rentals, you have the West Ashley revitalization plan, you have low battery, low line. How is your job going?
Well, there's never a dull moment at the City of Charleston. Like I tell everyone, we have all the challenges of a growing city, and it's an amazing privilege to work here. It really is.
Yes, indeed. Let me turn to the obvious, and this is a headline from live5news.com. New timeshare complex proposed for downtown Charleston, and will be proposed at the corner of East Bay and Calhoun Streets. And I know that the city has, I believe, really lighted that particular project. Why now?
Well, Quintin, it's a great question. And as you, of course, are well aware, we have tried for really a couple of years now to put the brakes on hotel development.
Okay.
And I said it before, and I still believe this, that I think that we have really reached a tipping point in terms of the number of hotel rooms in downtown Charleston. I think there are too many in comparison to the number of residents we have here. So, as a city, we have tried over and over to slow down hotel development, and we've only had a little bit of success with that, in all honesty, and we want to continue to do that. Mayor Tecklenburg, as you know, has called for a moratorium on hotels, and we think it's still the right thing to do, to slow down hotel development. In the case of the East Bay and Calhoun project, it's one that they met all of the legal requirements to obtain a hotel on that site. We didn't really have the power to stop it from a legal standpoint.
Right.
But our Board of Architectural Review did defer them the first time they came through and really told them they need to work on the design of their building. So we're still working on that project and trying to make it better. But the big headline is that we're still trying to put the brakes on hotel development.
Let me turn to flooding. And this is the headline from the Post-Courier just yesterday. Charleston named finalists in national contest for its tidal flooding alerts idea. So where did the idea came from?
Well, good question. As you probably know, we have a new effort in the City of Charleston with our new Chief Resiliency Officer, right, and a big collaboration of many city departments to focus on solving flooding in a way that we haven't ever done before. And with our Public Services Department and our Chief Resiliency Officer planning, everyone working together, we're going to bring new tools that we never have before to solve the issue of flooding. Mayor Tecklenburg, as you know, said that's one of his top 3 issues for this year. And it's something that's the time has come for us to use new tools. And that's what that's about. It's a new tool to help solve the flooding problem.
Let me move from downtown Charleston to Johns Island. And this is another headline from the Post-Courier. Johns Island moratorium looks dead, but concerns about development there remain very much alive. So what concerns does the city have right now?
Well, as you're aware, in 2007, we created a master plan for Johns Island. And that master plan said that we should protect the urban growth boundary. About 85% of Johns Island is protected from development. Sure. And then within the urban growth boundary, we said we should grow in those places that are the right places to grow. And one of the things that we called for in that master plan was infrastructure. Right. 526, improved intersections, improved green spaces, improved roadways, interconnections in streets. Right. And 10 years later, 11 years later, looking back on that master plan, not all of the things that we called for have been delivered. And it's time for us to look back at that, reaffirm our commitments, and make sure that we're doing the things the plan called for. That's exactly what we're doing right now. And Mayor Tecklenburg has appointed a sort of a working group to help do that, to look back at that plan, reaffirm the things that we need to follow through on, and make sure that we're delivering the best for Johns Island. It's a thing that needs to be done.
You talk about Johns Island, you talk about 526. This is probably a redundant question to ask everybody. But in your mind, is 526 dead or alive?
Well, good question. One of the things that I think makes Charleston a great city is that we are very persistent here. we stick to our goals, even if it takes a long time. The bike connection over the Ashley River Bridge is the Ashley River is a great example. We've been working on it for years, and we have a whole new effort to get it done. So even though we might not accomplish things in the immediate short term, we really try to take a long-term view. And while at the moment there may not be political or other kinds of will to get it done, the money may not be there, we have a long-term commitment to build 526 because it's the right thing to do for the whole city. It's better for emergency access, it gets people on and off of Johns Island in a more efficient way, and it helps people move around the whole region better. So we have a long-term commitment to get 526 done, even if it looks like it might not happen right now.
And as you know, 526 ends right there, Savannah Highway. Let me take you to the Charleston City Paper headline just recently. It says this on February 14th. City approves West Ashley area plan in an effort to shape the suburb's growth. So what will growth look like in West Ashley 10, 20 years from now?
Well, we're really proud of our master planning effort. That has been something we've been working on for a year and a half. The mayor and city council appointed the West Ashley Revitalization Commission. They spent a lot of time and a lot of effort in monthly meetings thinking about all the different aspects of West Ashley and how it should work. The adoption of that plan, which city council passed just in their last meeting, is something that really sets a vision for West Ashley going forward. And it says that West Ashley should grow in the right places. It should grow in places that are high and dry and have good connections and good infrastructure. And that we shouldn't be growing in places that are subject to flooding. It says that we need more transportation options. We need to widen roads and improve intersections, but we also need to improve transit service, and we need to make it safe to walk and bike. It calls for improvements in terms of housing, to protect existing neighborhoods, to make sure that those houses that are there are going to stay there, but also to build new affordable housing and create incentives for affordable housing throughout West Ashley. It's a big, broad plan that sets a vision for that part of our city. It's a big step forward.
And you talk about Charleston City Council, I guess right down the street here at the Dock Street Theater. They'll be at Charleston City, well, the Charleston City Council will be taking place on on February 26th, if I can speak. But obviously, there's the short-term rental draft ordinance. So explain to me what that ordinance will look like.
Well, short-term rentals are, first of all, a fascinating issue. Every city in America is grappling with this issue. And for folks who aren't in this world, short-term rentals are vacation rentals, essentially, for sites like Airbnb or HomeAway. And what they do is a traveler, instead of getting a hotel room, can rent out someone's home or an apartment or part of a house as they travel. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing inherently wrong with short-term rentals. There's nothing bad about short-term rentals. We don't want to demonize that people who short-term rent. However, in a city like ours, where we have 5.25 million tourists every year and only 37,000 people living on the peninsula, we are in a really unique situation. We have a lot of people who travel there. Right. And the mayor and city council, recognizing the growth of short-term rentals, appointed a short-term rental task force. Right. And they said, y'all go look at this issue. And our department led that effort over the past year. And this task force, again, they looked at every angle, and they spent a lot of time, monthly, sometimes bi-monthly meetings, looking at all the different issues around short-term rentals. And what they recommended to our planning commission, who considered it, and now it's coming to council, right, is that we should allow short-term renting in the city of Charleston, but that it should be done in a way that is very controlled and very limited to protect quality of life and protect neighborhoods. It's a really smart ordinance, and at the core, at the very basic, most elemental, the ordinance that council will consider says that to short-term rent your home, you need to reside on that property. And it needs to be in the city of the county of Charleston's tax system a 4% property. Now, what that means is that a developer or a landowner or a homeowner can't buy an investment property and use it for short-term renting. And the task force said, we don't want our neighborhoods and streets becoming streets of just hotels. We want to protect residents and protect neighborhoods. And that's the reason that the ordinance is written the way that it is. And I think it's very smart, and I think it's something that will protect our city. But it allows short-term renting in a very limited way. So I think it's a good balance and a good mix. And we, as you pointed out, we've moved council to the Dock Street Theater to hold more folks because we think there's going to be a big turnout on this issue.
Right, you're right about that. And another issue right now, and I was just thinking about this just a second ago, but Spring and Cannon Streets, what's the future like for those particular streets in your mind?
Well, we're really happy with the changes that have happened on Spring and Cannon Street, and the neighborhood is too. And we originally called for those changes all the way back in the 1980s, and in the 90s we did a master plan for Canterbury-Elliott Borough that called for the two-waying of those streets. And it took sometimes it takes a while to get streets changed. That's one of the hardest things to do, is to change streets. But with that change in place, what we have seen is a reduction in the total number of a reduction in the volume of traffic. So we have less congestion in those neighborhoods, which is one of the things that we thought would happen, and that's taking place. But at the same time, it hasn't impacted business. And in fact, I was there on Valentine's Day buying some sweets from the sugar bake shop.
Yeah.
and I asked the owners, I said, has this impacted your business in any way? And they said, it absolutely hasn't done anything negative, and we'll see it might actually increase our business. So the business owners on Spring and Cannon have really responded well to this. And from a traffic standpoint, I know that just on a personal level, I'm glad I can finally take a left at Cannon Street. It really helps move around the peninsula more efficiently. Right. So it's been a real success story, I think. And now that we are going to get the resurfacing done, and the surface will be nice and smooth, it's really going to be a major improvement for the city.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it takes a long time to get change done sometimes, but it pays off.
Well, you're right about that. Well, Mayor Jacob Lindsey?
No, never. Never. I'm proud to work for Mayor Tecklenburg.
And he's a great man. I'll be interviewing him not next week, but the week after in March. So.
Outstanding.
Yeah, but Jacob Lindsey, thank you for this. I really appreciate it.
Quintin, thank you so much. Great to see you, man.
Likewise.
Great to see you.
Always.